Hello, welcome to the TV room. And here we have Dave number 3. And this one is indeed signed. And yes, it was Halloween. It's October 31st. Unfortunately, the signature, I can't make it. I think maybe the last name was Zeng or Zhang, but I'm really not sure. And I believe the first letter in the name of the person who was wonderful enough to create this is a B, but I'm really not sure. Anyway, I have included down in the bottom corner, the signature is there. So if you see this and it was you and you think this should have gone home with you, do let me know. Anyway, this would be also same day, same pose, same class, same chair, same everything. And they would have been farther off to the left, maybe than the last one. I don't know. They weren't right beside me, but they were certainly a little farther. And eh, it's funny if you can imagine being a model in these things, and literally, it's hard to see the people because they're behind their easels and they peek out around and above, and especially with the more and more people that came to draw, there was more and more easels, and I guess they were kind of 2 or 3 deep. But as long as they could get a good view, um, it all worked for them. And once again, same pose. But it's funny how, like in this one, it looks like my legs are crossed, but and I don't believe they were. But from that perspective, so they kind of were. And this is the first one who I think has included the chair, and it was kind of like a dining room chair with arms, and it was comfortable enough for 75 minutes. Although, the hardest thing was staying still for that long. So, once again, another artistic interpretation of Dave on Halloween. What year? I don't remember exactly. I do not. Once again, it's on a piece of paper that's, I think, 24 by 36. It's done in pencil. Um, my camera still dangles around there. And actually, if I think back on it, I think when I was brave and I was sure I wasn't going to mess up where my hand was, I think I might have even taken the odd picture while they were drawing me. That's one thing about cameras I wish there was there that they did, and that is for if there was just a setting on a camera, you could just say once every minute without me touching, without me doing anything, without pressing any button, just shoot a picture. It would make great time lapse, and also if you were posing for an art class and you had a camera around your neck, um, it would be an interesting thing to see the varying poses and the people with their thumbs out and all the rest of that. And because I was like, they weren't sitting right next to me, there was a good distance. We could get a lot of their serious faces as they were doing it. And the funny thing is, and I must say, I'm very glad that they did not ask me to be part of their typical posing, which of course would be wearing generally nothing at all. I could see how, like, these were serious art people, um, that if it really came down to it and they said, we really need you to do this undressed, after experiencing the professionalism and the dedication and the hard work and the just the serious nature of these people who were drawing. Once again, I was thankfully never asked, but I would have possibly considered it if it ever came up, but it never did, thankfully. I'm so glad it didn't. But anyway, it was a very, it was not an easy thing to do, to say so still, but certainly I was very pleased to be part of the project and part of their classwork and part of the inspiration, um, and maybe part of their portfolios that helped them get into other art schools or other such things. I don't know. Anyway, it was an honor to be asked, and certainly looking back, and I hope some of these former students who are now probably hopefully doing something in the world of art, um, look back and remember that day with the fondness that I do, especially each time I pull these out and think back to the happy times, because there were a lot of happy times at the school. Um, and it's funny how some people can do very little and have a great effect on a place, and some people who like to, is inflict the right word? Maybe it is, but who just can't just leave things alone, can really take the joy out of a school or any workplace. Um, and it really comes down to trust. They don't trust the people who work for them. And so they feel they have to control everything. And really all they do is stifle the creativity and take away opportunities for students, and leave an awful lot of people going home feeling a lot worse than they should. It is very hard working in an educational institution, but days like this, out of the blue, unexpected, where I ended up sitting for the art class, are amongst my fondest memories. Although it wasn't easy, especially I was trying not to blink, and I was trying to make sure my eyes were always on the same thing on the wall, and it was not easy. Um, and some people just have a hard time sitting still, and I'm not sure I'm one of them, but certainly I've never had to do it for so long without anything. I think in the midst of it, I did occasionally have to scratch my nose, or maybe only just once, but I would always say something beforehand that I might have to, hang on, my nose, and but I would always make sure that they were aware, and that they would make sure, or somebody would make sure that when I put my arm back down, because it was probably my left hand that I would scratch my nose with, that it ended up in the same position and all, because that's what they need. Anyway, so there's Dave 3. So thanks for coming. Have a lovely day. But before I go, this one too, it's it's pencil, and it has its own style and its own charm and its own magic and texture. I think there's more texture in this one, and as I said, I was honored to do it, and I'm glad to be able to look back and say it was a good day. It was a good Halloween, and hopefully the inspiration from me doing this carried on a very long time, and that many, many wonderful memories were made that day. Anyway, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.